Hi everyone. Today we are going to learn about Ohm's law. Right. So this Ohm's law is most important question. We can expect this question for 4 marks in annual point of view. So just try to listen with concentration. And it is also basics, one of the important basics regarding the current. And most probably what is the main purpose of the Ohm's law means? Ohm's law, the basic purpose of the Ohm's law is nothing but it gives a relation between potential difference and current and resistance. I will explain regarding resistance later on, but first of all, the basic purpose, the main purpose of the Ohm's law is nothing but it gives a relation between potential difference, current and resistance. So that is the main purpose of Ohm's law. So now first of all we will see the definition. What is meant by Ohm's law? We will see the definition of Ohm's law. So now I am going to explain about the definition of Ohm's law. So if we apply the constant potential difference to a conductor, if you apply the constant potential difference to the conductor at a constant temperature, the potential difference applied to the conductor is directly proportional to strength of the current flowing through the conductor. So once again I am repeating here, the amount of potential difference applied to the conductor at a constant temperature is always directly proportional to the magnitude of current flowing through the conductor. So that means in mathematically we can write potential difference is directly proportional to strength of the current. So what we can write, potential difference means V is directly proportional to current. Current is denoted with I. V is directly proportional to I. But here which one remains constant? Temperature. Temperature of the conductor should be remains constant. So this is what we should remember. So if we remove this proportionality symbol, we need to write proportional constant here. So instead of by removing this proportionality symbol, we need to write one constant. So that constant is nothing but R. V equal to Ri. So this is the expression for Ohm's law. This equation is known as equation of Ohm's law. So this is the relation between potential difference, current and resistance. V equal to Ri. This is a famous relation between potential difference, current and resistance. Here R means resistance. So resistance is a constant symbol. Here proportionality constant. So we can write from this equation we can write resistance constant equals to resistance equal to R equal to V by I. So in this way also we can represent the Ohm's law. So this is the definition and equation of Ohm's law. So now we are going to discuss about verification of Ohm's law with a lab activity. Verification of Ohm's law. So this is with the help of lab activity. This is very important topic for 4 months. So whenever you are going to write the answer regarding the lab activity, again we have to follow the sequence here. So here first of all what we need to write here, aim of the activity. What is the aim of our activity? To verify the Ohm's law. How can we verify the Ohm's law? So if you want to verify the Ohm's law, we need to show that the ratio between potential difference and current should be remains constant. That is our aim. To prove that V by I is constant. So that is the aim of our lab activity. So we need to prove that the ratio between potential difference and current is constant. So once these two components, the ratio between these two components are constant means they should be directly proportional to each other. So that's why we need to prove that when we want to verify the Ohm's law, we need to prove that the ratio between potential difference and current should be remains constant. That is the aim of our lab activity. Yes. So to prove this one, we need some materials. Materials required. What materials we need to prove the ratio between potential difference and current remains constant? So one more thing you should remember here, we can verify the Ohm's law only in case of conductors. So for that sake, we require some materials. So these materials, I am going to show these materials with the help of the circuit diagram. So this is a circuit diagram here. First of all, we require one iron spoke, small iron rod, iron spoke. So iron is a metal, so it is a conductor. Next, connecting wires like copper wire, connecting wire. So next we need to measure the potential difference. Which instrument is used to measure the potential difference? Voltmeter. So we require voltmeter, and we need some power. We need some electricity. What we have to use for that? We need to use one cell. Like to verify that one, to verify the relation between potential difference and current, we require 3 cells of 1.5 volts. Same, they should have same EMF. So now I am connecting only one cell, single cell here. And what we require to measure the current, we require ammeter. We also need to consider ammeter. Ammeter is denoted with A. This one is nothing but ammeter. And next here, key, switch to follow the current or stop the current. And remaining last component is nothing but voltmeter. Always we should connect the voltmeter in parallel. So that's why I am going to connect the voltmeter in parallel with respect to iron spoke. So why? Because we are going to verify the Ohm's law in case of iron. So we should connect the voltmeter in parallel with respect to iron. So I am going to connect the ammeter in series. Wherever you connect the ammeter, nothing will happen. So these are the required materials. What are the materials we require here? First of all, voltmeter, and next one is ammeter. So connecting wires, 3 cells of EMF 1.5 volts. And switch or key, and last one is iron spoke. So these are the required materials. So next we will consider procedure. Third step is nothing but procedure. So in procedure we have to draw this circuit diagram. Okay. So if we consider the procedure, in procedure what we need to write is, so first one we should take all the components like voltmeter, ammeter, connecting wires, iron spoke, and key and cells. So we should connect all these electric components as shown in the figure, as shown in the circuit diagram. So first of all, before going to connect the circuit diagram, we should follow some rules. So that is very, very important. So what are the precautions we need to take here means, first of all, voltmeter should be connected in parallel. That is most important. Ammeter should be connected in series. So this is also very, very important. And all the wires should be connected to the iron spoke, and our voltmeter in parallel with respect to iron spoke, ammeter in series, and switch should be connected to negative terminal of the battery. So in this way we should construct the electric circuit. So after constructing this electric circuit as shown in the circuit diagram, so next what we need to do here, we need to measure the values. What values we need to measure? Potential difference values and current values. Why? Because we need to study the relation. We want to study the relation between potential difference and current. So we first, after connecting all the wires as shown in the circuit diagram, then we need to close the key. Then current flows in the circuit from positive to negative terminal. Positive to negative terminal. This is the EMF of this cell. So then the current will flow. So after closing the switch or key after 1 minute, next we need to observe the readings of voltmeter as well as ammeter. From the voltmeter we will get the reading of potential difference across the iron spoke. and from the ammeter we will get the reading of current with respect to voltmeter. And after measuring the potential difference and current values from voltmeter and ammeter respectively, we need to repeat the same process by increasing the number of cells. So now in the second process we need to connect one more cell in the series. Again we need to repeat the same thing. Afterwards what we need to do? We need to increase one more cell again series. Right. So by increasing the number of cells, we need to know the readings of potential difference and current from voltmeter and ammeter. So we should record all these values in the table. So next we have to write observation. So procedure is completed. In case of observation, we have to draw one table here. In this table we have 4 columns. So first one, serial number. How many readings we are going to take? 1, 2, 3. That's it. And next, in the first column we have to take the reading of potential difference from voltmeter. In the second column we have to note down the readings of current from ammeter. And next, in the last column, what we need to check here, we need to know that this is important. Ratio between V and I. In the fourth column, V by I ratio. Right. So you should not substitute any values when this question is came in your examination. So why? Because here we are not going to do the activity. So just we need to leave the table in observation. Note down the readings from the observation. So from that, if you observe the table from the readings from the observation, it is concluded that the ratio between potential difference and current will be remains constant. So the ratio is constant. And next, what we need to do from these readings, we need to plot a graph between potential difference and current. So here on x-axis, this is the x-axis, y-axis. On x-axis we have to note the readings of potential difference V. On y-axis we need to note down readings of current I. So here 1 volts, 2 volts, 3 volts like this. So here also 1 ampere, 2 amperes, 3 amperes. So we need to plot the graph here. So the ratio between potential difference and current remains constant. So that means you should not substitute any values in the examination. For the understanding purpose, I am going to substitute the values here. So like this we are getting the values. So here 1 cell we connect means 1.5 volts, 2 cell series means 3 volts, 3 cell means 1.5 to 3, it's nothing but 4.5. So if we got the readings of current for number by increasing the number of cells like this here, 1 amperes, 2 amperes, 3 amperes. So you will find the ratio V by I. So 1.5 by 1. 1.5, 3 by 2, 1.5, 4.5 by 3 is nothing but also 1.5. So we need to plot the graph like this here. So according to this one, we need to change the values 1.5, 3 volts, 4.5. So in case of 1.5 volts, we get the reading 1 ampere. So in case of 3 volts, we get 1.5. So here also, we need to change the value. No need to change, sorry, 1, 2, 3. In case of 3 volts, we got 2 amperes. So here 2 amperes. In case of 4.5, we get 3 amperes. Right. So just try to change these dots here. So from that graph, it is clear that we got the straight line. If you plot the graph between potential difference and current, in case of conductors like iron, in verifying the Ohm's law, we got the straight line. So once we got the straight line, means Ohm's law is verified. And from that graph also it is clear that V is directly proportional to I. And V by I is constant. So this constant is nothing but resistance. So in this way, we have to verify the Ohm's law. And it is not completed here. The question is like this. One more question also they can ask. So while we are going to verify the Ohm's law. If we connect the LED, we are removing iron spoke. On behalf of iron spoke, we are placing LED. LED means light emitting diode. Basically, diode. All the diodes are made up of semiconductor materials. They are nothing but silicon and germanium. Regarding semiconductors, I explained already. So, if we repeat the same process in case of semiconductors, the readings are not like this. So now, if we repeat the same process by connecting the LED in place of iron spoke. So you suppose LED is a semiconductor, light emitting light. In case of semiconductors, the current value does not follow any regular sequence. We get the readings like this. For the explanation purpose, to understanding purpose, we get the reading like this at 1.5, 2 amperes, 3, 1 ampere, 4.5, 0.5 amperes. We will find the ratio between V by L. So 1.5 by 2, it's nothing but 0.75. 3 by 1, we get 3. 4.5 by 0.5, 0.1 gets cancelled, so it becomes 9. So now we will plot the graph here. So we are going to change the values on y-axis. I will consider like this 3, 6, 9 scale. So at 1.5 we get 0.75 here, very small value. At 3 volts we get 3. And at 4 volts we get 9. So here 9. So if we plot the graph by joining these points, we cannot get the straight line here. So if we plot the graph between potential difference and current with LED, we are unable to get the straight line. So what is the reason behind it? That one means why we are unable to get the straight line. Why we are getting the curved line means here potential difference, the ratio between potential difference and current is not remains constant. That means potential difference is not directly proportional to current. So hence Ohm's law is not verified, not provided in case of LED. Why? Because it is a semiconductor. So semiconductor does not follow the Ohm's law. That is what we should write. So now I am going to explain the limitations of Ohm's law. Limitations of Ohm's law. So even though we verified the Ohm's law in case of conductors, still it has some limitations. So what are the limitations? Means Ohm's law is only applicable for conductors like metals. It is applicable for only conductors. So we cannot verify the Ohm's law in case of semiconductors and insulators like LEDs, diodes, all those things. And second limitation is nothing but the temperature of the conductor, like iron spoke. When we are going to verify the Ohm's law, the temperature of the conductor should be remains constant throughout the experiment. So that is another limitation. Temperature should be remains constant. So these are the two limitations of Ohm's law. And here now I am going to explain types of conductors based on Ohm's law. Types of conductors based on Ohm's law. So we have two types of conductors. They are nothing but first one is ohmic conductors. Second one is non-ohmic conductors. Ohmic conductors and non-ohmic conductors. So first we will consider ohmic conductors. Ohmic conductors also known as linear conductors. What is meant by ohmic conductors? Means it is very simple. The conductors which obeys the Ohm's law are nothing but ohmic conductors. So the examples are nothing but examples for ohmic conductors are metals, all the metals, and they are also known as linear conductors. Why? Because if you plot the graph between potential difference and current in case of ohmic conductors, you get straight line. That's why they are said to be linear conductors. So now we will consider non-ohmic conductors. The conductors, they does not obey the Ohm's law, they does not follow the Ohm's law, then they are said to be non-ohmic conductors. Example is LED and semiconductors and insulators. So and they are also known as non-linear conductors. Why? Because if you plot the graph in case of non-ohmic conductors will get the curved line. We are not getting the linear line. So they are also known as non-linear conductors. So friends, in this video I explained about what is Ohm's law, definition of Ohm's law, what is how to find what is the relation, what is the expression for Ohm's law, and how to verify the Ohm's law, and circuit diagram of Ohm's law, and limitations of Ohm's law, and graph of Ohm's law in case of conductors and semiconductors. So this topic is most important for you. Why? Because this based on these topics we have to solve so many problems in 10th class. Not only in 10th class, in further studies also it is most helpful to you. And try to learn this concept, try to remain this concept forever. And finally, thank you everyone for listening my class. And my final request is that if you really like my class and my content and my presentation, please subscribe my channel KRP Creative Physics, and don't forget to click the bell icon to notify my next videos, and follow my videos sequence wise. If you follow my videos, you will understand everything. Don't skip even single video also. Why? Because in physics there is link between one video and another video. Don't miss even single video. So if you miss single video, you cannot understand the concepts. That's why follow all the videos and try to learn the physics. Thank you everyone, and